A Court of Fairies and Fiction. Akafath Girls Podcast. Hosts Nell and Liv. Episode 16, The Morrigan, the Mother, the Maid.
All right, hello.
Hello.
I will be looking like a poodle for the next 6 months.
Melanie, tell them what you got done. I think it looks
I
beautiful.
got a perm. It was supposed to be curly.
It is.
Well, it's curly, but it looks very crimped.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder, do you think it's gonna like loosen it up a little bit as time goes on?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I love it. I think
my mom was like, you should just go and wash it out. I was like, fuck you.
You're like 3 hours and a ton of money later. No way.
Yeah. I'm
No
like,
fucking
you
way.
know what? I will fucking look like a poodle for 6 months. I don't care. As long as there's volume now.
Yeah. There's so much volume and you could do so
and
much
I don't
with
have to
it.
brush it.
Yeah.
I can
You don't?
literally crawl out of bed and go to work now. I don't have to be like leave-in shampoo and fucking all this shit because my hair was always greasy. It literally dried out my hair. My hair is dry right now.
Is it really?
I had to grab this because I was cold. So anyways.
It's beautiful.
It's fine.
It's so cute.
So let's start with the betrayal thing, which I don't want to get too deep into it because, again, I have the whole more thing to talk about tomorrow. But I do think it's going to be more, and I will discuss later. But I also think Rhys is actually a prince of hell. But Mort, remember, is the truth person. So I was thinking the other day, and again, I'll get into more depth later, but I was thinking the other day, how come she couldn't tell them about Azriel?
like what he is?
Yeah.
I don't think she knows.
No, but how? Her power is truth.
But like I don't think she can know. I don't think she knows.
But she has to know because she knows about Lucian from a look. Right? She looked at Lucian on that pond and she's like, we can go to the river house. Like, he's good. You can trust him. But you're telling me she's the one skirting around Azriel and everyone's like, oh, we don't know about Azriel. We don't know about Azriel. Nothing from Moore. We don't get any of those sentences from Moore. Only Cass and Rhys.
So tell me something. So you think she knows he's Valg? Is that why she avoided him for 500 years?
No, I think that I said I wasn't going to go into detail.
Okay, don't go into detail.
No.
Don't go into detail. Don't do it. No.
I'm not going to get into detail.
Okay, we'll do it later.
And then I'll talk about it later.
I
think that Moore is actually just as dark as Azriel, and I think that she kind of knew they might not go well together, not mix together. I mean, again, she prefers females, and that's the basic reason why. But there's a lot more to Moore than we think.
Do you think so? So
remember how Rhys said that the original bloodline was Moore's and not his?
Yes.
I think Moore hailed from the Dusk Court, not Azriel.
What? Walk me through this. I know you can't get into it.
No, I can.
So wait a second.
So
are you saying that Moore is the other princess that's missing? Remember the one that came to Prithian?
I think that she is descended from one of them, and it's kind of hard to explain because we don't exactly know who the mother is, right?
Right.
But I was rereading some blurbs, and do you remember what the Naga said when they attacked Feyre?
No, I don't.
They
Is
said
that the stay with the High Lord conversation?
no, the Naga, not the
The
surrogate.
Naga.
The Naga
No,
one.
I don't remember what the Naga. I have the book, but
They
don't remember it.
so the leader or whatever was like, "Oh, look, brothers, the Dark Mother has sent us a gift." So we were kind of right about the whole balance thing, where if there's a good version of something, there's a bad version of something. So there's the mother, and then there's the Dark Mother,
Mother.
which I think is where Rhys and Moore's family lines come from, the Dark Mother.
Is
So,
Thea the Dark Mother?
well, we went over how Rhys was talking about his ancestor who made Valaris, right?
Yeah, the ruthless ancestors.
Well, yeah. So basically, he said that that ancestor didn't want to be in Hewn City anymore, right? Which is basically the Rubine layer of hell, right?
Right?
Didn't want to be there anymore. Created Valaris for some like nice place and like somewhere normal. Like, so they were like an outlier, right? But he never said that that ancestor was male.
Okay.
I'm thinking that Moore's power comes from this female ancestor, and that's why she shook Hewn City when she first got her powers. And that's why I said I wasn't going to get into it, but now I'm getting into it. And that's why Rhys, like when Rhys invited Kier and all of them or whatever to Valaris or whatever, that's why like Moore was pissed and like he knew she was going to be pissed. He calls it like Moore's city, Moore's safe space. And wouldn't that track if she took after the ancestor who created Valaris?
Yes. Yes. Well,
The
I
ancestor that blood spelled the city for safety to get away from Hewn City, just like Moore did?
yes.
The first dreamer?
So you think Moore could be the first dreamer?
I think Moore takes after the first dreamer, which was her and Rhys's ancestor. And I don't think it was a male, I think it was a female.
What?
And that's why Moore is so fucking powerful.
You know, I was reading that part where Rhysand said that any fool, remember we were talking about that any fool would think that the Illyrians were the most powerful. And that's why Moore and Amryn were his second and third.
Mm-hmm. And remember,
But still,
Hybern called her a queen.
he did call her a queen. It it was super weird. He did call her.
I think his ancestor was created Valaris back when it was dusk, before the bloodline switched, right?
Okay.
Somehow his grandfather or whatever took it from them, or maybe used something like Hybern's spellbook like Amarantha did to change the path of the magic.
Yeah.
Eradicate the Dusk Court, because what if the Dusk Court was the only court ruled by females?
I do think you're right on that. And you want to know what? I think that's why there are no high ladies.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why there's no high ladies.
So I think that the Dark Mother, I think something happened where there was the mother, right? And then Thea, turned to a prince of hell, right?
Right.
Which kind of tainted her. And
Yep.
kind of like Adam and Eve, right?
Yes, right.
Sinned. So now all the females are going to have to deal with a loss of power.
Yes.
Stuff.
I just had that. Yes.
So I made voice messages about how I don't think that, well, I do think that Fiona kind of defeated the Daglin or whatever, but I don't think he was the biggest part of it. I think it was Thea and Adis that were the biggest part of it. And
Yeah.
because Thea chose the side of hell, she was written out of their history. So they said
Yeah.
Fion did all of that, right?
Yeah.
And I think the mother probably, I don't know, not aided, but kind of spun the path of fate to have Peleus kill Thea, or whatever. So what I'm thinking is that if the females had as much power as the High Lords, they would kind of either be killed or be driven crazy. And this holds a lot of weight, actually. Or the mother would mate them to tyrannical males to keep them in line.
Thus the heiress thing.
So, because think about this, right? We had Tamlin's father, awful person,
Right?
mated to his mother, who we think was Starborn, right? Or some
Okay.
sort of Thea's line. Again,
Okay.
Thea's the original sinner. The mother has to take him down a notch, right? Mated to Tamlin's father. He makes her super subservient, probably beats her, was a slave, whatever. We have that. We have Tamlin, who has lost Feyre, has probably lost Rhys's sister, right? No mate
Yeah.
yet. We have Tarquin's cousin and his mate and his family killed by Amarantha. Gone. Tarquin is now in power. No mate. No female mate. We have Baron and Lady Autumn, tyrannical male, making a super powerful fire wielder female subservient and beating her. So she can't use her power. We have Beeson, who's gay, so no female there. And then we have Rhys and Feyre. If Nesta wasn't there, Feyre would have died, giving birth to Nyx.
Oh.
So they're either the mother, they always pray to the mother or whatever, but the mother is punishing like the females for the original females' sins, turning to hell and then fleeing the world. So that's why she refuses to put any female in the highest position of power.
The mother is? Because they're too powerful, you mean?
Because they're either so powerful that, I don't know, they'd be driven crazy. Like, maybe to her, Thea had so much power that Adis and his darkness was kind of alluring, or a new, like, sort of, I don't know, excitement, right? Even
Right.
if it fell for him. And this kind of holds weight because we have more, all of her secrets, all of her hidden little things. Like, we don't really know what she's doing. But then we have Feyre, who got all of the powers from the High Lords, right? Was she driven crazy? Is that why she's a completely different person? Is she slowly being kind of corrupted by magic?
So, okay, so I think
So,
that this
like,
does
if
bear
that was
weight.
the original plan, because think about it. So the mother has to know, because she's kind of like the god, right? Goddess, god. So the mother would have to know, okay, this super powerful female, I can try to drive her crazy. If, it doesn't really work out as fast as I want, her mate also has wings. I'll just have them have an Illyrian kid, she'll die, right?
Right.
Gets
Right.
rid of the corrupted female again.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I think because I was just thinking about this the other day about like the high lady thing. And that we don't see women. There's a reason. And
They're not connected to the land. They're not being tethered to the land.
No.
I think it's a
And
punishment.
I love that the fandom is like, oh my God, Hamlin, blah, blah, blah.
And like,
This is
Feyre's
my
a high
point.
lady, but she's not.
Yes. And for 15,000 years, there's never a high lady. Nesta loses her powers. Aelin loses her powers. Bress, however, did not lose her powers, which is interesting to me that we know of. In fact, she gained powers. So,
Hofas. I think Bryce is gonna have to sacrifice them to save someone. She'll have to
what
give them back to the gate or something. Because look at the patterns. All of the females are taken down. Like, even Feyre. Like, Feyre somehow survived. There has to be a consequence to that.
It's
because
funny
Nesta fucked. Like, Nesta fucked with everything. But the thing is, are we assuming that it's the mother that helped her? Like, I feel like everyone's just like, oh, Nesta was connected to the mother. She's blessed by the mother. The mother likes her. The mother saved her from the Kelpie. The mother prevented the Cauldron from taking all her magic. But what if it's the Dark Mother? The opposite of good? Because I'm getting kind of confusing here. But if you think about it, if you think Prince of Hell, you think evil, right? But in Hosab, again, we're told they were the good guys. They were the good guys. Asteri to try to destroy them and save all the other worlds from everyone. So what if the mother is the one literally playing God, literally being God, and hating all the females of power because of what Thea did, like the original sin? Kind of like the Bible. We know she does the religious references, right?
Yes.
And the Dark Mother is the one trying to right things.
I love it. I like it because everyone is always so angry about the women losing their power, and it's weird. It's weird that they lose their power all the time.
So is Clotho the Dark Mother?
I knew you were gonna say that. I can see it. Well,
because someone pointed this out on one of the pages, I think, the other day, or maybe you did. I don't remember. Maybe you did. But in the bonus chapter, when Asriel brings Gwen's, not Gwen's, Elaine's, the necklace.
Yeah.
To the library, and he's like, give this to Gwen or one of the other priestesses or whatever. Clotho takes the box, right? Like, well,
yeah.
Can't take the box. Her hands are all messed up, but like with magic, she like floats it over to her or whatever. And she's like, yes, Gwen deserves something this beautiful. The box wasn't open. The box wasn't open. How does she know what's in it?
Are you sure the box wasn't open?
It wasn't open. It was just the box. He sets the box on the counter and she's like, she deserves something as beautiful as this. As beautiful as what? What are you seeing, Clotho? Why did you not actually give it to her? Because you're playing hijinks. You're playing a long game. Ma'am.
I like it. I like it. So Clotho's the Dark Mother.
And I think that's why I do honestly think that she was in the Asteri dungeons.
That's where she was tortured and had her tongue ripped out.
Because I think the Dark Mother is the Queen of Hell. And I think War's working with Clotho. Is that the ancestor that she takes after?
It's funny because you would think that Mor was the Queen of Hell, right?
Well, yeah. So Clotho could be the Dark Mother, and then there was an ancestor, and then Mor takes after the ancestor.
Okay.
So technically, the ancestor would have been the Queen of Hell, renounced it to make Valaris, basically.
Yes.
Which is exactly what Mor did.
So let me ask you something.
Renounced everything to go to Valaris.
I like it. Why? I just forgot my thoughts. Damn it.
Asteri. We were talking about Clotho in the Asteri dungeons. And
Mor be Queen of Hell, right? Is that
so?
What we're
Someone
saying?
in the chat was like, they were like, well, why would Clotho like degrade herself like that? Like, why would she give up all that power and all of that just to like reside in a library or whatever? But see, if the Dark Mother is also the spinner of fate, there has to be some consequences if fate speaks something, right? Kind of
Okay.
speaks something into the world. So I think that's why the Asteri would have ripped her tongue out.
Yeah.
Because she kind of could have spoken them out of existence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Instead of all of this having to find first light, having to find second light, like all that stuff, right? And I think Clotho actually fell through the gate and ended up in Valaris, just like Bryce did. And that's where they found her. And she was just like, I was beaten up by all the males, whatever, right? And do you remember how when Rhys is telling the story, he's like, you know, they tore her tongue out and then they like bent her hand so she couldn't write who, whatever. Rhys is a Daemati. Why does she need to physically tell you?
Yes. Do you think Rhys knows? He has to know.
Gwen says that Rhys knows all of their stories.
Do you think that's why Rhys is so protective of them?
I think that basically I think more is going to be the betrayal because she's going to realize that by whatever path she's been on or whatever, she basically fucked herself over, right? I think she's secretly been trying to gain back the crown, like being a high lady of her original court, which would have been Dusk. We know that Rhys's line destroyed Dusk, got rid of it, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because again, the bloodlines shifted to Rhys's direct line. And you have to think if Rhys wasn't there, Mor would technically be the next in line. Like it was Amren was his second, but Amren isn't part of his bloodline, right?
Right.
Basically. So I just find it funny that Mor has been around the whole time, every time Rhys has been captured by Amarantha or, you know, stuff like that. And also, I think I think her anger was amped up again more recently because of Feyre, because then Feyre came in the picture and she's this 20-year-old whatever nobody that got all these powers and Rhys is making her high lady. Her high lady. I think Mor's wants her crown back. I think Mor's gonna try to like avenge her line.
Holy shit. I'm like really surprised by that. I don't know why.
I do. But I also think that her super powerful whatever in the ancestors line goes through her mother and not Kier, because Kier's a little fucking bitch.
I know.
Little.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. Hello. We're back. Just
hello.
Pretend this is not a pajama shirt.
I'm totally in my pajamas. For those of you who know us, you know we record like in the middle of the night because our schedules are
It's
so
not
off.
the quality of the clothes, it's the quality of the talk, okay? Me and my poodle hair.
I was gonna say, you know what? There might be other podcasts that are but our conversations are like gold.
They literally have like rose-colored archways and
I know.
pretty clothes and crowns.
Like, I know. Makeup on. We're over here in our pajamas. Like, what's
you get my pajamas and the best brain that I will have all day. So that's what I bring to the table. Anyway,
I love it. Well, I'm excited to hear what you want to talk, like what we're going to talk about. This is an interesting topic to me. I've been thinking about it all day long.
Yes. So since I will be mushing this together with last night's. Anyways, we left off talking about some of my more stuff.
Yeah.
I touched on a little bit of it, but I finally transcribed all my notes. So
I love it.
and it's just kind of funny because it was from the group chat. So I was like going back and forth with Jess, but like I only could transcribe my part of it, so it jumps a little bit. So anyways, the whole thing started with them asking like, what do we think Moore's truth power actually does?
That's
Or
a good question.
which is actually a good question. I mean, technically it could be anything.
I have never understood it. Like, I really don't get it. Like,
So
she just like tells the truth. Like, is that?
I said that I think her power is to be able to identify and sense the truth in others. Because again, going back to Akawar with the way she like scrutinized Lucian and then she was like, yeah, we can go to the river house. So I kind of see it as her like she can either tap into others' truths or I think she can probably kind of make people believe things.
I could see that.
I could see that, right? I said possibly down to the spirit. I think that she can identify how good someone is and that she could possibly alter the perception of someone's reality using their own truths.
I like that. I really like that a lot. I like that. My question to you is this: do you think Moore can see into like the future, kind of, or because it was weird to me the Elaine illusion thing, when she told Feyre that they will be happy? Like, how does she know that, and how does her power? Like, I'm not sure I understand how that's a truth power. You know?
I kind of saw it as she knows the truths about Lucian and she knows the truths about Elaine, and then she can kind of figure things out from there.
Yeah, like maybe she knows how they feel about each other right now, or
Maybe. Or
I don't
what
know.
or what happened between them during the off pages. I don't know. I
It's weird.
said many of people's truths are usually stuff people wouldn't want to speak or wouldn't want out in the world. Um, and then I basically mentioned how, like, in my fic, I twisted it so that um, she like goes up to the guards and she's like, I know all of you like hate each other and you'd rather kill each other, whatever, and then they like literally kill each other.
Yeah.
And then like
Oh,
there was like one guard that was left that didn't touch anyone, and she's like, "Oh, so you hate yourself the most? You'd rather kill yourself?" And then he like kills himself.
tells himself.
Yeah,
So when she speaks the situation, it comes true, comes
she can like
into
read it
existence.
on them and then twist it into reality, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would make sense with them calling her the Morrigan from the war, right?
I was reading that excerpt today from Akamath. Yeah. I have something else too that I highlighted, but
I said, thinking of her history, her being stuck with Kier, we don't really know what Kier's powers are or her mother's are. But it had to be someone very powerful in her family line for her to become the most powerful female in Human City, so much so that she shook the mountain. And like her parents are kind of afraid of her.
I was just thinking about that today. You know, they don't like her. Both of her parents do not like her. But how could she be from the Dusk Court, like we were talking about yesterday, or like, you know, a woman of power if her parents are in charge of Hume City? I'm not quite sure that I understood that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, again, going back to the whole female thing, it could be through her mother's line, but again, her mother is stuck with Kier. Her mother's super subservient because that's how they're raised there.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe it's her mother's line. It's interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder. It's funny because we don't know anything about her mom.
Reese says we don't speak about Moore's mother.
Which to me is a little sketchy sketch. You know what I mean? Like, that's a little sus. Who's her mom?
Like her mom, like Moore what did she do? Oh yeah, remember she like went into their bedchamber or whatever to like try to beat up Kier more, and her mother's like, "You're banned. Get the fuck out."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I was like, when I read that, I was like, "Ooh,
She was
dude,
like, "My mother
they
banned me from their bedchamber."
they hate her. Hate. They hate more. Her
It's
mom included, which is
yeah,
weird to me.
yeah. I do think she might have been manipulating people because her and Reese were supposedly very close as kids, and Kier would let her stay over there. Reese's father would let them play around in the library, and it seems very off to me just because of what we knew about their parents. You know?
What, that they got to play together?
Yeah, like that they would just let more like stay over all the time and stuff. So yeah, I think that she can use the truth to like manipulate people. Just like kind of how I said, like if Reese was a prince of hell, he could make everyone like believe his backstory. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it kind of track that Moore has similar powers if she's his cousin?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny because I've never really understood Moore's character, so I'm intrigued by what all you're saying about her.
Yeah.
You know?
Because again, like Reese is like, oh yeah, like they would just let her stay over here, whatever. First of all, Reese's father didn't even like that they took in Cass and Az. He hated that he had another daughter. It's like, you think he wants another kid in there?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
He's just like all these fucking strays. And then there's Kier, who obviously she had to go back at some point if she was stuck there with him, and like he got to try to marry her off and stuff like that.
I know.
It's very weird.
It's super weird.
Then Reese is like, yeah, he punished us for greasing the floors of the library and like sliding down.
You know, I actually do enjoy like reading like
I
that,
could
like,
kind of
or
actually see that with them now.
yeah, yeah, greasing the floor.
Um,
I also liked in Silver Flames when they were saying that like they were taking the stairs, like the dad made them like walk down and up the stairs. They were like vomiting, it like
yeah.
stunk in the
Yeah.
staircase. Like I actually really enjoyed that. I was like, I kind of get why he would make them do that because
Yeah.
they're three rowdy boys,
I know. Like go burn off some energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do marching up and down the stairs.
I know. But like that, so like if he was that harsh on the boys, can you imagine how bad he was with the sister?
You know what I was thinking? Like, do you think he was actually like harsh, or was he just like a dad? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think he was traditional.
yeah, yeah. Like, do we think he was worse than Tamlin's dad, or
No, he wasn't worse than Tamlin's dad because at least he didn't take the side of slavery. So
that's true? That is true. So
yeah,
he was between the two dads. He was definitely the kinder one, and he did
yeah.
take in.
Like Reese had the better childhood. Come on,
Oh, 100%. And
100%.
he took it, but he like adopted a bunch of kids like
Yeah.
against his own will,
I mean,
basically.
I guess throwing them into like a war camp isn't the best thing to do, but technically that was his mom because his mom was the Illyrian.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
which is interesting. So,
hmm.
huh.
But anyways, I said it's weird that yeah, that she said that she was like stuck with her parents, but then even as a child, she was the only one who could come and go as she pleased.
Weird.
Um, I said if she didn't have her powers until she got her period, that would be kind of weird, doesn't line up. And then I said, um, yeah, I said, do we think her secrets and wishy-washiness and weird backstory is really SJM setting her up to be the big betrayal in Hofast? Um, I mean, she could be. I do kind of think she's put out. Because, I mean, if you think about it, like, you're not even second, you're third. And it was originally your family's power.
Yeah, like your courts too.
Yeah. I don't know.
But she's never like indicated that she wanted that, right? Like I don't feel like I've ever seen her been like Mora's like pretty go with the flow and like I just want to be a mean girl, so like who needs
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But I find it, again, really friggin' weird that Hybern knew she was a queen.
And like queen of what? Like queen of what? Really?
What does Hybern know? How would he even know her? She was in the cauldron scene. Weird.
You know what's interesting too is that I was rereading that Akamath. Do you want me to read it to you or should we wait till the end? With
Yeah, if you want to.
yeah, this right here. Okay, let me just read it to you real quick, and I want to get your thoughts on it, and then I want to go back to your notes. But I was like, this makes no sense to me. Okay, this is when it's with Grayson, right? It goes to Lord
Mhm.
Nolan's house, okay? And I was always like really confused by
The
this.
fortress.
Yes. So she said, so it's Jurian and Moore. Like Jurian shows up, and there's something going on between
You've
Jurian
always
and
been a
Moore.
liar.
Yes,
Oh, is
this
that
is it. This is it. I said to Jurian, quote, you don't want to kill Miriam and Dracon, which the Miriam and Dracon like storyline is also really weird, but
And if she knew
there was
truth, why would she's lying
I'm
about him?
that's what I'm saying. There was, and if she knows the truth about Jurian, like it's weird that she lies for him. There was stark honesty in Jurian's eyes as he shook his head once. No, he said roughly, I want to beg their forgiveness. I looked to Moore, but tears lined her eyes and she blinked them furiously away. And then Miriam and Dracon had vanished, Reese said. Their people were with them. Then find them, Jurian said. He jerked his chin at Azrael. Send the Shadow Singer, send whomever you trust, but find them. And then
And also, why the fuck does he need forgiveness?
that's what I mean.
I feel like that's what
so,
she's gonna do to Tamlin, and I'm just gonna be so mad.
yeah, I think she's gonna do it to Tamlin too. Like I honestly don't see her.
I want to beg them
I don't
for what? Miriam fucked him over.
Miriam basically cheated. She cheated on him.
She cheated on him. She made him seduce this evil person,
Yes.
and then he like got killed by her sister.
Yes.
Weird.
It was like the whole Miriam and Dracon thing was super weird to me. They hate him. It's super weird. Like Miriam told him what to do.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Did it. I
But
said,
like,
do we think that she is actually like the true queen of hell? Like, is she a princess of hell? Like, if Reese is a prince of hell, she would be a princess of hell.
you want to know what? She would be the seventh, wouldn't she? If we name them, it's Adis.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, that would make fucking sense because mirrors, the Asteri are 6 males and a female. Sirius
Is it
is
really?
dead though. Sirius is dead though. She was the female. She was the kindest one.
Okay, wait. Now we need to list them off. Oh my gosh. Okay. Adis, right? It's Adis, Apollyon, Thanatos. And then we were saying Reese, Cassian, Azriel.
More?
Moore is number 7.
More.
Moore is number 7. Could it be?
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I said if she knows the truth by looking at people, and she did do that whole thing with Ianthe, and I'm guessing she has seen Tamlin at some point, but even if she hasn't, she saw him in the cauldron scene when the sisters got thrown in. So if Reese's sister isn't dead, and she took a good look at Tamlin, would she know that the sister isn't dead? Like, would she know about the gates and the rifts and all of the history and everything?
Yes. But that's what it doesn't make any sense. And the queens from the continent were so scared of her.
I know. It's so weird. And then, yeah, I said if she knows the truth about everyone, wouldn't she know everything about Azriel? We went over that last night. I said, oh yeah, I did that last night. I said, is that why she was close to him? King of Hybern called her queen. Yeah, I said I definitely don't think Kier is supposed to be the leader of Hewn City. It's definitely supposed to be more if it goes by power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And that would be the 7th layer of hell, right? Or not the 7th,
right.
the 5th layer of hell.
I mean, we could be wrong though, because I know that we talked about Azrael being the Valg instead of the Prince of Hell, so maybe that wouldn't quite check out. But
Yeah.
it just her
Yeah,
story
I
makes
don't,
no sense.
it doesn't.
I
But
really,
again, the mirror with the ancestor wanting to get out of Hewn City, her wanting to get out of Hewn City. Hmm. Yeah. Like, I don't, like, was Moore in cahoots with Hybern? Because again, it just baffles me. Like, how would he know?
she was a queen.
Yeah, like Queen of Hell or whatever. Like, can the Asteri and the Princes of Hell just recognize each other?
How would Hybern know? Watch this be something we learn in Tog. Watch everything
How
freaking be
would he
explained
know?
in Tog. They're like, oh, Hybern knowing more as queen is actually in a Kingdom of Ash. You just need
Right.
to read it.
Oh my God.
But like,
Dude.
yeah, like what would she be a queen of? Like seriously, what?
Yeah, Queen of Hell, I guess. I said if Moore was the Queen of Hell, but she really wanted to be like High Lady of the Night Court, like their ancestor, she would have to get rid of Reese. What better way to get rid of Reese than to trap him under a mountain? The way she was in Hewn City.
Yeah.
Amarantha. Again.
Huh, huh, I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
Um, maybe she, I said, let me see. Um, maybe Moore wanted to take over Prithian like Hybern with Hybern. Maybe she was working with Hybern to be the next queen because she knew that Amarantha, there's no way Amarantha was going to make it out alive. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. You know, it's funny because I'm like, I always feel like Moore is one of like Thea's daughters, the other one that got back to Prithian from the Crescent City world, because everyone just calls her a liar, and I don't know why else. Like, why is she a liar? Why are they calling her queen? Because if her mom's dead and her sister's dead, technically it would be her who's the queen, right? Of Thea's old
Yes.
court.
Yeah.
But then it would be interesting because like here, like she has parents, unless they're not really her
Yeah.
parents, but like a guardian.
But
I
like
don't know.
Feyre is like she looks just like Kier, like he's her
I know.
dad, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we did have an ACOTAR Feyre saying that Lucian looked just like Baron, so
Yeah.
could be right.
Unless
I don't know.
unless Moore's a liar because her mom is Thea's daughter that escaped. And Moore knows all of it and she's had to lie. Could that be
But
it?
see, but then like why would the mom let herself like I don't get it.
Maybe it's like she like saw the Asteria and was like, what the fuck? And like terrified and was like, my mom did this,
But
my sister did
so
this.
but wouldn't then Thanatos know that? Because he's stuck under there too. Thanatos
I
would
think
know who she is, right?
Thanatos, I'm sure he does.
Unless we're all wrong and that Moore's mom is serious and
You know,
no.
that's not a bad idea.
But that fucking line fucks me up. We don't
Which
talk
one?
about Moore's mother. Why? Yeah, she's a bitch. Yeah, she let her get abused. But like Moore is more powerful than here. And just the whole thing where they're like, oh, well, we can kill him at any time. Then fucking do it.
It's weird, right?
But they can't, because if Thanatos is the Prince of Hell and that's his actual realm, and Rhys has to ask them permission to like use their dark bringers and all of that stuff, technically he's like, oh, we could just, but technically you can't just.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Rhys and Mor are working together and Mor's going to fuck him over.
I mean, if in that case, if I
Because
had
I
to
kind
choose-
of feel like if we're doing the whole repeat of history thing with Cassian and Annalius and with all this other Asteri War stuff, then wouldn't it kind of be a repeat of history for Mor to work with Rhys? Get, oh, I'm your cousin, like we're working together. Fuck him over, get the power of her line back, kind of like their grandparents did.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like in order to get, I mean, Rhys's family is kind of shady as shit anyway. I
Yeah.
feel like his grandfather definitely fucked over Mor's whatever, like his brother or his cousin, right? To get the power.
Yeah.
Because then Dusk was literally eradicated. Like, so they
Yeah.
could never get the power back. But obviously, somebody from that line survived because you have Kier and you have Mor. Or you have Mor's mother and you have Mor.
Well, yes, that's true. It's so funny 'cause, like, none of it, like, I just feel like it doesn't add up. Something's just, like, not right.
Well, so we kind of have the three queens, or the three next gen queens, because we have Mor, we have Nesta, and we have Bryce, all called
Right.
queens. And I guess if you want to consider Feyre, but I really don't.
No. It's weird. Yeah, not even Feyre is like that.
Yeah, so those three have been called queens. So the curious thing to me is that Bryce has the 8-pointed star and Nesta has the 8-pointed star. What does Mor have?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Huh.
Dark roiling magic is what she has, but then could that also be a nod to Gwydion and Narbin, or Demaray and Truth Teller, because one is always light, one is always dark, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So then there would have to be 4. I would assume the 2 dark would be Feyre and Mor, and the 2 light would be Bryce and Nesta, right?
Yeah. Right.
She had silver flames, which was kind of light.
Interesting.
I said if she wanted to get rid of Rhys, it's not going so well, because as I said, he then made Feyre his high lady and
Yep.
this little teenager, whatever. And then she's like, whatever, okay, so I can deal with Feyre. And then you have Feyre's fucking sister who comes in being called Queen of Queens and has all the death powers, which Mor technically should have if she descends from the Weaver. That's another thing that I thought of today, but I said Hybern calling her queen sticks out, Lanthus calling Nesta Queen of Queens sticks out, and I said the fact that the person who wanted Nesta to be trapped in Hewn City was none other than Mor.
I never really put much thought to that. The Mor wanted Nesta
Either
trapped in-
dumped in the Mortal Lands to be hunted or in Hewn City.
Why?
Yeah,
in
Nesta
Hewn City?
belongs in Hewn City. She's, a viper just like them, or whatever she fucking says.
Is it weird to you that, like, everyone talks so horribly about Hewn City?
Yeah.
And it's like,
She's like,
it's a
oh,
part
toss
of-
Nesta in there. What?
What?
I said she wanted Nesta out, wanted her in the Mortal Lands, or wanted her in Hewn City. She wanted her gone, because if you're supposed to be the queen, and then someone is blessed by the mother, by the gods, by the cauldron, whatever, Nesta is literally blessed by the mother or the dark mother, as I thought. and they become Queen of Queens, that would technically make her a higher position than you, higher in power than you. And she would want to get rid of that person because it would threaten her power.
I like it. Would you follow the people around more? Does everyone end up dead or like misplaced or taken care of? Is that what you were looking into?
Well, yeah, I just said that I think it's funny that she's supposedly so dangerous and she could supposedly take care of anyone. And yet Rhys has been captured twice
Yeah.
by Amarantha. Mor was trapped under a mountain her whole life. Rhys found himself trapped under a mountain. In which, again, she couldn't really compete with Amren at that point, but she kind of could have. Because Amren's bound to a body. It's not like she was her godly self.
Right.
So, I mean, do we really think Amren was doing anything those 50 years except fucking...
Cameron doesn't give a shit. Let's be.
So technically, Mor could have had her power then.
Did you find it weird too that Mor was scared of the King of Hybern? Remember when she like went to like go like stab him and he like I could find the quote if you want, but like
I think she was scared that he was gonna out her. Because I said, like, does he kind of know truth? Like, does he know stuff? I feel like he knew a lot. Well, obviously,
he knows a lot.
He knew a lot.
But like, why did she was like stepping up to him and then she like stopped and like dropped her knife or whatever.
An act, just like Tamlin's act. It was an act. Because also, Hybern really hated Rhys. And Mor never mentions that. She just kind of let him hate Rhys. He was after Rhys.
He hated Rhys.
He hated Rhys.
Yeah, he did.
Everybody around Mor and Rhys hates Rhys, but they think Mor's a nice little queen.
You know what I think is going to happen? I don't think Rhys is going to end up being the evil.
I'm kind of thinking it's Mor.
Yeah, I'm wondering now if it's Mor just based off what you've said.
The dark roiling magic beneath the pretty exterior. Cassian notes on this, which is very actually insightful forecasting.
Hey, watch your mouth. Don't talk about my man that way. Cassian's very insightful. It was at Silver Flames that he really got butchered.
Well, so I said that as a Sherlock fan, one of, I don't know if I said this before. I feel like I say a lot of repeated stuff, but
I do too. It's not just you.
One of my favorite like quotes from Sherlock is like, I'm going to paraphrase here because it's been a while since I watched it and I'm blanking right now, but basically it's like the best way to hide is in plain sight.
But also that I love that you bring it up because we see that in Tog with Aelin hiding in plain sight. I mean, that's brilliant that you say it like that.
So I literally was obsessed with that show. I know the quote like the back of my hand and it's not coming to my brain right now. I'll think of it later. But I said, I find it funny that she's Rhys's cousin. Rhys has dark magic, but his like whole vibe is kind of dark anyway. But as blonde and light and flirty as Mor is, she also has dark roiling magic. So I said the best way to hide something is in plain sight. So what if, again, if she was Thanatos' daughter and he's bespelled to Hewn City because we never saw him leave? Maybe she's literally the queen of hell.
Yeah.
Well, princess, queen, you know. I don't know. And then I said, I said in Crescent City, as we know, when Thanatos is projected on the screen, he says, "When I see you in my world, I'm going to eat you, eat your starlight," to Bryce. Which is why I think he betrayed his brothers. First war, he got expelled to Hewn City. I said, if he's Mor's father, that would make a lot more sense than Kier being Mor's father, because Kier, again, seems very freaking weak. The fact that he has such a powerful daughter doesn't make much sense. Especially because she also has 2 brothers.
It's funny you say that because I don't remember that. What in any of the books?
They're the ones that drag him away after Rhys mutilates his arm.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like 2 blonde males grabbed him by the arms. They could have been Mor's brothers. Could have been.
Could have been.
But like, who else is gonna take care of Kier like that? Fucking nobody. Like, it's gonna be his sons.
But it's weird that, yeah, like Mor never mentions that she has brothers.
Another secret. Another secret. I don't know. And again, the way that Cormac and Mor look exactly alike.
Did Cormac have dark eyes though? Because Mor has
no blonde hair and amber eyes.
Mor has blonde hair and amber eyes. Okay.
So does
hear
Kier.
me out on this.
So does Kier.
Hear me out on this.
But they don't describe her mother.
Okay. So Adis, let's think about this for a second. Adis is a prince of hell.
Yeah.
Okay. So he got with Thea. They clearly had a kid. Okay. And then Thea had the previous kid from Fionn, right? And Fionn, I'm assuming, is Rhysand's line, is kind of what it sounds like. He like could be associated with him.
Helena and Peleus.
Possibly.
Well, it has to be Helena and Peleus, because remember, Adis tells Rune, he hates Rune, because he goes, "You're just a bastard. You're from Peleus's line. He killed my Thea," right? He hated him because he's a bastard prince.
So, okay, so listen.
And we know that Rune is related to Rhys.
Yeah. So, Rhys is from Fionn's line, okay? And then Adis and Thea have their daughter. And so, it's safe to assume that they're probably blonde because Adis is very blonde himself.
So would that be Mor's line and Dusk?
And that would link him to Rhysand as a family, right? Because they all come back to Thea loosely. Like, I guess they'd be like step cousins, kind of. And like Rhys says they're distant cousins.
Distant cousins, yeah.
So then they have a kid. It may or may not be Mor's mom. I don't know. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's weird. Mor's constantly lying. She denies herself everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would be mother, because technically, like, there's a lot of descendants. But like down the line, I do think that they're related. But again, is it Kier? Because Kier said that the Ouroboros was his family heirloom. Remember? So it can't really be the mother's. And that traces back to the Weaver. Now, I had a thought today, and I know it's going to kind of break off my notes, but I had a thought today. And what if the death gods are just witches that were forcibly infused with Valg?
Go on. What makes you think that?
Because as we know, like, the witches would drink the blood of whatever to remain youthful, right? And then we have the Valg, which is kind of like the Asteri, which eats souls, life, whatever. So wouldn't that kind of just make them the embodiment of death if you can both eat the flesh and the soul?
Interesting.
And the bone carver, that's another part of the body. And dark roiling magic, that has to be like some kind of Asteri or Valg. Because like the shadow powers are kind of odd. And Erewhon, again with Erewhon, like Azrael shadows swirling around him. Like,
So weird. It's just none. You want to know what? None of it makes sense.
I said, so I actually get into it a little deeper here. I said, I feel like Mor has always been secretly contending against Rhys because if you're both in the same family and you're both equally as powerful and the magic only chooses men, wouldn't you be a little bitter? Especially if you're more powerful, technically, even though they're kind of equals. She would have every right to be bitter, especially because, again, Rhys's line stole it from her line. She would have technically been High Lady if the magic was never stolen. Imagine if you were trying to come in as High Lady and this fucking 20-year-old little bitch thinks she knows everything and is like, High Lady, I'm Feyre.
Yeah.
And then you have
Yeah.
to play sweet little Morrigan as your cousin literally hands power that should be yours to his new mate, who is not qualified. And then this bitch's older sister fucking gets blessed by the mother, becomes Queen of Queens, overranks you. I said, so I feel like Mor would have a lot of built up anger and hatred about that. And I feel like Sarah making her hide her sexuality is also kind of like another layer of hostility, or kind of a nod toward how long she can go to pretend being something that she's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least pretending that she's okay with her life as it is, that everything's perfect and she's exactly who she wants to be and she doesn't want for anything. And I said, I think it's just funny because really she's just very suppressed and very angry. Also, that's something that we're not thinking of. I said, what if Thanatos has more than one child? Like, he could have just been talking about like one specific daughter, like again, Fury or whatever. But I said, can you imagine if Mor and Fury are sisters? The fucking chaos they could cause. Again,
I would
light
love
and
that.
dark. Light and dark.
But they don't look anything like each other.
They don't have to have the same mom.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like if Mor's mom hooked up with Thanatos and Kier just thinks Mor's his kid? Again, like Lucian and Baron, or like Rune and Einar? Because if the mom's also blonde, sure.
Yeah.
How would they know? How would they know?
Yeah.
How would they know? Because again, how is she this fucking powerful if Kier is like this little twit that people can just whatever? And again, I think Thanatos is just making Kier rule because he's like, fuck this shit, I'm too old for this shit. I don't give a flying fuck. Like, I'm just gonna mill around.
Or is Thanatos, he's not imprisoned, is he?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound.
Yeah, absolutely he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely he is.
You want to know what, though? I think that your theory holds a lot of merit, because if you're going to betray somebody, and Sarah has said that Rhys and Feyre, apparently she said in an interview that like we're going to see repercussions for their actions and the things that they've done. So it sounds like something's going to happen. So
I'm so excited. If that's true, I'm so excited.
I know. So what if we have Kier and Eris and Mor?
Just gonna say,
Okay,
Kier
go
and
ahead.
fucking Eris working together. It was literally my next note.
To
This
get
is
rid of,
why
yep.
Mor is keeping Eris fucking down.
Yeah.
That's why like Rhys allying with him was dangerous for Eris. More than just, oh, if you tell Baron. Because you literally have Mor who's like, I can destroy you.
Well, wait, say your point, because I think you and I might have different points.
I said, well, this is just a secondary point, but we know that Eris knows that she's lying. So Eris has to know what/who she is. And she doesn't want anybody telling anybody because she has got plans.
Yeah, I
Plans.
maybe we
So,
do have a point.
so wasn't more away in Akasif? Wasn't it Eris that was taken by Breelin?
Yes.
Because he wanted to save his, wasn't it guards or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if, say, the guards' perception of reality was warped, and you can make it look like they're under the thrall of the crown in order to entrap the only person who knows the real truth about you, which would also get rid of him. Because where the fuck was, there's no way she was in Valahan that whole time. Oh, I'm going to Valahan. I'm going to Valahan. You're telling me people are terrified of the Morrigan and she's just letting Baron live and letting all that shit happen in the Autumn Court. You're telling me she's not waltzing over that Autumn Court border and fucking shit up for him. Ain't no way. If they're not actually secret allies, ain't no way she's trying to make his life not worse. Yeah, I said, when I think of roiling to me is like stewing, swirling around, waiting to strike. Like Eris, because Eris is also hiding his true identity as like a good person, and he allied with Rhys. And he's trying to tamp down and control Baron's cruelness. I said, I think Eris is a lot more powerful than we've seen, and he's also biding his time as well, which is why they were mates. Because again, if he's her mate, even if they're rejected, he has to know, he has to feel what her intentions are. I think that he knows how dangerous she is, and I think him preventing Kier from going to Valaris was kind of like a white flag, maybe? Like, look, I'm not fucking opening my mouth because you're literally gonna kill me, so can you just not? Like, I will, whatever, I'll deal with your father, but then you have Eris's secret plans with here. And we don't know what those are. I think she's trying to shift the balance of power back to her line and herself. I said I think Thanatos was bespelled to Hewn City, I'm assuming by Thea. She fled with Adis, so at some point Thanatos did betray his brothers. I do think it's because he chose the side of the Asteri and had a child with an Asteri and went through all that stuff. I said, okay, so here's the Dusk Court stuff. I said I've always had the theory that Mor's original family line was the Dusk Court line, and obviously Rhys's line, whatever. So I think that the way it was is that it was all considered the Dusk Court.
Okay.
And I think the Night Court was just a like a sector of the Dusk Court. Kind of like how you have like Illyria and Hewn City. Like I think the Night Court was just a sector of the Dusk Court.
Okay.
And then I went into I already mentioned how I think she gave him, how she gave Azriel Truth Teller, right?
No.
I didn't? Okay.
No.
Oh, I think I was talking to someone else about that earlier. Okay. I said, I know that everyone says that they think Azriel is connected to the Dusk Court because of Truth Teller, but just because he had the knife doesn't mean the knife belongs to him. it obviously wasn't activated by him. It was activated by, you know, Bryce when she came in. I said, I actually think that Moore gave him the knife from her family trove, which would make sense because, again, SJM's favorite number is 3. We have Moore, who showed the Veritas orb to the queens. We have the Ouroboros mirror, also from her family trove, and Truth Teller, which would be a made weapon. Where else would they get it except the Hewn City trove?
I like it. I like it.
I think that little tiny crack theory here, but I think that when they were younger, Moore just literally had no idea what to get him for Solstice. And she was like, oh, look, a pretty knife. There's a blue thing on it. It looks like his siphon. Cool. And like gave it to him for Solstice. And
That'd be
because he had a
awesome.
huge fucking crush on her, he's like, I'm going to name it Truth Teller after you.
Like more. Oh, I love that. Actually, I love that.
Because she is the Truth Teller. He
Teller.
named it after Moore. Right?
Also, though, didn't Dorian have Truth Teller before? I mean, I haven't read that yet, but
He had a sword. He had Demaray. I don't know how to say it.
Is that the one that heats up when
Yeah.
someone's
Heats up and freezes. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a sword, not Truth Teller.
Yeah, it's a sword. I said, I think the Dusk Court was more powerful than the Night Court because their territories shared space without boundaries. The Dusk Court family line ruled the entire land, and it was just the land of Dusk, and then the land of Night was like kind of where Illyria was, like a sector of it. 2 territories under 1 ruler. Now her cousins, born in the nighttime territory, aka the Night Court, most likely wanted that power for themselves, and they found some sort of way to shift the power to their line. I'm wondering if they worked with the Asteri to decimate the Dusk Court side of the territory, and that way the Night Court cousin line could rule and the Dusk Court would be eradicated. Obviously, there are some survivors because it went down the line into Karen Moore. But also, what is Moore's color scheme? What does she wear all the time?
Red.
Red, cobalt, and she's also blonde. But so you have amber, you have blonde, you have red, you have cobalt. Those are like dusk colors.
Dusk colors. Now, what do you think that, because then her and Bryce would have to be related.
In a way.
But when you think of Bryce and Moore's personality, what does Moore like to do? Doesn't she take pride in how she looks? Doesn't she dress up in kind of like really
She's also kind of a party girl, yeah.
Provocative clothes.
Yeah.
She's a party girl. I mean,
yeah.
They kind of are very similar personality-wise.
Yeah, similar. I said, now she's going to have to compete with Bryce, who was actually gifted by the mother to be the true ruler, and not Moore, because Moore has most likely gone against the mother this whole time.
Why do you think Moore's gone? Because she's constantly lying?
Well, not just that, but because she was trying to get rid of Nesta. Nesta is blessed by the mother as well.
Well, Nesta was never blessed by the mother. Remember, she's
connected connected to her. Well, the cauldron and the mother are 2 different things.
Would you say she's blessed by the mother?
Absolutely. Why would she like keep touching her shoulder and keep being a presence over her and prevent all her power from leaving her body?
Yeah.
And there's more. Stick her in Hewn City.
Yeah.
Get rid of her. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way that, again, Moore wasn't there in Akasif when Nesta was abducted to the blood rite.
True.
When Eris was abducted by Breelin, the 2 people Moore hated. Come on.
It might be more. I mean, like, this is
And the
pretty
way
starting
that
to
she
be
was,
pretty
when she
convincing.
was there, the way that she was all over Cassian and she hated that Cassian was like leaning toward Nesta. Oh, get me lingerie and rub my feet and like, bitch, what are you
Yes.
doing?
And it was weird that Cassian didn't want more to see
He
him
didn't
holding
know. I know it was weird.
Nesta's hands, right? Like, he was like almost like afraid of more seeing.
I said I want to make note that the 3 people missing from the scene at the end of Crescent City, I believe, were more Elaine and Lucian. 2 super powerful
Whoa.
mates whose mate bond makes people nauseous even when they're on opposite sides of the room. And one of them has a secret father. The other one is kind of blessed by the mother. And then we have Moore, who's not in the room when Truth Teller is glowing. And then, Bryce
Okay.
comes with the starlight in her
I know.
chest. Nesta and Cassian were in the scene. Azriel was in the scene. Amryn was in the scene. Like, everyone else was in the scene.
Yeah.
I said Elaine was supposed to be honing her powers. Lucian has been back and forth from spring. But Moore really didn't have a reason.
Reese had her at doing like work, trying to get the continent signing the peace treaty, right?
In her secret place in Valahan.
And her place in Valhan, which Reese must know about if he has her up there, right?
Well, he doesn't know about her secret house. Again, what is she storing at that house?
Yeah,
What does she have at that house?
at that house.
All of Amarantha's best laid plans that went wrong. She's like, I'm gonna do it better.
I would love it. You just like walk through her house. There's like a fucking wall with like red string everywhere, and like
You send me, you're like, it's you. I'm like,
I mean, because up until this point, Moore's story like really doesn't make sense. Everything's like so confusing.
it's in the background. It's in the background.
Yeah.
I said, not wanting to tell your family about your sexuality is one thing, even though it's been like 500 years, whatever. But hiding that you have a secret house in a land of fucking loyalists, especially knowing what we know that Hybern knew about her.
Oh, that's such a good point.
And that she like let Amarantha take Reese twice. Like,
I didn't even think of it like that.
what if Hybern was like, I don't know why he would fuck her over, but what if, like, remember, all of their powers were stripped in that scene. Feyre, Reese, Tamlin, Lucian, the most powerful people that could compete with her. All of their magic was stripped. Cassian was bleeding out on the ground. Azriel was bleeding out on the ground.
All of the people she's associated with.
All of it except Amryn. She was like, fucking bitch. But like
But why is no one ever killed?
The thing is, I think she knows what Azriel is. I think she wants to use Azriel as some sort of weapon, basically, because she was so concerned about Azriel in that scene. Nobody else, just Azriel. Do you remember that? That's why everyone's like, oh, they were supposed to be mates. They were supposed to be mates. But can you imagine if it's like literally just because she knows about him? And she's like, I need his help to take over. He loves me, right? He'll help me because he loves me, right?
Moore, the ultimate gaslighter. Really?
And that's why she's been leading him on this whole time?
You want to know what? It has to be Moore. The betrayer has to be Moore. Because, like, none of it is weird. Like, why lead Azrael on for 500 years?
I know.
I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Just none of it makes sense. I don't know.
I said, you're telling me that Morrigan, who can see the truth, wield the truth, flip the truth, who is friends with Miriam and Dracon, who again, Miriam had this whole plan to trap Durian, was there in the war when or I would assume that Mor was there because she's about the same age as Rhys, right? Or like a year or two younger.
She was there. It says that she was there.
Oh yeah, the Morrigan, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're telling me that she let Rhys get caught by Amarantha, let Amarantha grab Jurian, torture him. I said, I feel
Mor
like Rhys
doesn't like help anybody.
yeah, I said I feel like Rhys is getting caught a lot when Mor could literally be preventing it.
How old is Mor? Do we know?
She's about the same age as Rhys, so like 530
Okay.
something. And the
Okay.
thing with Eris happened when she was 17.
Okay.
Okay.
That was a long ass time ago. And they still haven't
They were
talked
in their
about it.
20s. They were in their 20s in this war.
She's so weird. It's like literally been 500 years and they just don't talk about any of their trauma. It's bizarre to me.
So I said that if so I said that what if Rhys's little sister was a little more powerful than him?
Okay.
Not only would the father not want that, right? But Mor kind of wouldn't want that.
Okay.
What
if Mor's the one that went and told Tamlin's father?
Right?
Where they were.
Right?
And she knows that area.
Right?
I mean, hello. And also it's weird that Mor has she seen Tamlin? And she's the truth teller, so like wouldn't she know Tamlin's truth?
That's what I said. She saw him in the cauldron scene. And then she was like, I will never forgive him. And
She's such a liar.
and also the fact that Tamlin was acting during the cauldron scene, she didn't tell anybody. She would know he was a spy.
Yeah, that was weird.
She
And
wanted them to rip apart each other. Come on, you can't tell me she didn't want that. I think she was totally okay with Tamlin's father killing them. Yeah, that's what I said. Win-win. They would both get rid of the powerful females. Also, so Mor claims that she doesn't want to be like how she was bred, like in Hume City, right?
Right.
But Kier said to Rhys's face during their meeting with Mor there that he was sympathetic to Hybern's cause. Do you remember that?
I do.
He said, my people have been trapped under this mountain, which you think that, I think Rhys was kind of like, okay, I've been trapped with Amaranth. I kind of get it now. And that's why he made that little deal.
Yeah.
Or was pissed.
I was going to bring this up earlier. She was furious.
Pissed.
Furious.
I think the Dusk Court and the Night Court, kind of like in my fanfic, had twin powers. And this is kind of like a headcanon of mine. I don't really have any proof of it, but my proof is that, again, that there is always a balance, light and dark, good and bad. There's always a balance, right? So if Rhys can mist and that takes things away, there has to be a power that brings something forth.
Okay.
So I like to call it manifesting, projecting. Misting and manifesting just sounded good, so I call it manifesting. Now, if that was supposed to be the Dusk Court power, what if, I don't know, I don't want to say that she's like punished, but what if it wasn't like given to more. And she's just very upset because, like, if they eradicated most of the Dusk Court, and like, what if it wasn't transferred to more, but it just returned to the cauldron because it didn't deem
Yeah.
worthy?
Right.
And so in my fic, that's what happened, and then Tamlin's mate gets it. It's gonna be a little issue there, but another female.
I love that. That's so awesome.
Rhys would already have the misting power, so that's why, Tamlin's mate had it in my fic or whatever.
Right.
But instead of it being mental, it was physical because Tamlin's a physical person.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kier basically says that Rhys doesn't let them leave. But what is it really Rhys though? Because again, why does he need permission for their army? But like, they have to ask him if they can leave.
I know. Unless it's like they're going into Rhys's lands.
Yeah,
like
true.
his like ring of hell or whatever.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not though.
Yeah.
It would make sense that they would because Rhys needs permission from Thanatos. Thanatos's people need permission from Rhys. I mean, I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the ancestor thing again. I said, what if he was talking about a female ancestor, not a male ancestor that created Valaris? Because, like, how do you create a city out of nothing? So that ancestor would have to have that twin power.
Okay.
Instead of taking something away, you're building something out of nothing.
Okay.
Hence my little theory there.
I like it. I like it.
That same ancestor is the one who poured their blood on the stone to hide Valaris from the rest of Prythian.
Yep, which is so interesting to me. I still try and figure that out.
Interesting.
Like, who is it? Who's the ancestor? Tell me.
Okay, we're a mess.
Yeah, a hot mess.
But we get shit done eventually. It's like procrastination. Do the thing later.
But I don't even feel like we procrastinate because we're always doing it.
I know.
Always doing something. You know?
We literally got like cut off in the middle of our thing last night.
We did.
Yeah.
Me and my whole family right now, we're all sick. We haven't had a single week that we've been healthy, and so got cut off, and we still need to talk about more.
We have more about more.
We have more about more.
So I left off saying that Valaris was Mor's city because she might take after the ancestor who was female. Also, I really couldn't talk last night, so I probably stumbled so much. I'm sorry.
I was like half asleep.
There's gonna be so many cuts of just like lulls of us like I mean
my eyelids were like halfway closed.
But anyways, so I said, yeah, he made that deal in Akawar with Kier to go to Valaris. Obviously, Eris prevented that from happening. Again, I think that's because they're rejected mates, but I do think Eris knows about her. She knows the truth, but has not revealed it. Come on. That is more than her sexuality.
You think so?
That is so much more than her sexuality. Because he's petty about the whole border thing. He's like, really? That's what you're pissed about? Like, he knows more.
Well, yeah, it's because she like pretends to make a big deal out of the whole what Eris did. We all know it's a freaking lie. It's just an act because she's a liar.
He gave you your freedom, bitch.
Well, and like, don't you think that Mor actually knows that deep down?
I think that's why I think that's why she's mad about it.
It's because he did the right thing and he's a decent person, and she feels guilty that she rejected their mating bond.
Maybe.
I
have a little part of my Eris fic chapter where she actually gets like really jealous. Like,
Really?
she doesn't want him, but she wants him to have him. Like, it's such a more thing.
Well, it's so funny to me because even with like the whole Nesta thing, she was like, I want you to make him crawl. I don't understand why she's so mean to him
Like,
when he's done so many nice things for you. I don't
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Right?
But so I wanted to point out that remember Reese under the mountain, he's like, I sent out my last dregs of power to trap them in Valaris or whatever. So I said, if Moore has the power of their ancestor that created and hid Valaris, wouldn't she have the power to undo Reese's spell and leave to save him if she wanted to?
Interesting thought.
With those big
But
red mountains.
but what we don't even know what her power really is. Like, we don't know. Maybe she can't. Maybe the truth telling is like she can't do anything besides that.
I
I don't know.
doubt that. If she shook the mountain with her power and everyone in Hewn City is terrified of her, and even the human queens are like, the Morrigan.
The Morrigan.
There's no
It's
way. She's like, oh, my cousin's power trapped me in the city that he calls my city for some reason.
true. That's actually a valid point. Like I just wonder what was the inner circle doing for 50 years, guys?
Drinking.
I don't know.
Going to Rita's.
Going to Rita's, partying.
Poor Reese. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. We'll see him in 50 years.
Good.
No big deal.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
It's so funny. Yeah, I said her mother's subservient, which is weird because I feel like her, again, the whole we don't talk about Moore's mother thing was very suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Who's Moore's mother, guys? Who is she? You know she's a big deal.
She's
if we
not
don't talk about her.
described. We have that one scene.
There's a reason that SJM just like touches on her and like keeps going. She has like 2 or 3 sentences and maybe that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Convinced.
Yeah. So I said I went into the whole thing about like the dark mother and how maybe the mother punishes females and it has either this crazed effect on them or it tries to kill them off or tries to make them subservient, like I mentioned before. And I actually think that kind of, I mean, it holds weight in canon.
Why? With all the females and everything that happens to them?
And even look at Feyre. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe this is why Feyre is so not Feyre.
The Dark Mother.
No, like I think the mother is like making her crazy because she has all the magic.
Really?
And females aren't supposed to rule because of the quote unquote original sin of Thea of picking the side of hell.
Uh-huh.
Well, so and Feyre was supposed to die in childbirth and she didn't die.
Didn't die.
There has to be consequences at some point. At some point. How many times can you come back to life without the gods getting upset? Like,
well, and that's another thing. Like, are the gods? Well, the gods technically aren't there, right?
well, I consider like the mother a god.
The mother,
The
okay,
dark
the mother
would
is
be
god.
like the opposite of the mother.
Yes, yes.
SJM actually said like, there will be like some sort of consequence at some point. And I was like, when the fuck did she say this? Because they need a consequence. Like, if she said this, I'm gonna be so excited.
And what is the consequence? And you want to know what? If the consequence is Cassian dying, I will be furious.
I said that. I said the consequence for them living is losing someone they love.
No.
Can be Cassian.
No.
Can be Cassian because it also fucks over Nesta and it also sets her up to explode and become Lady Thayer.
No.
Yeah.
I hate that. You know what? Can't you punish like Moore, Amryn, anybody but Cassian? He's the best. Or like destroy the Night Court. I don't know. Just not that. Like, I don't want anyone to die. I just want damage done.
I mean, someone dies in all of her series.
Stop it. Stop it. You want to know? It's weird that no one has died yet in ACOTAR, and that makes me concerned it's going to be really gut-wrenching when it happens.
Can you imagine if after Akasif they have a scene and it's like Cassian and Eris are like on the front lines and they both just get fucking mowed down?
So, you know what? I don't even know if we can keep doing the same work because my anxiety is like so high.
I would literally, like, you would be crying for Cassian, I would be crying for Eris.
I'd be devastated.
Both of us got fucking schooled.
I'd be devastated.
I would be sobbing. Like Sam Cortland sobbing.
Stop. I can't, like, I have not finished Assassin's Blade because of it, but I can't bring myself to do it.
Oh my god, it's awful. It's
I know.
Awful.
Especially because, like, he's fantastic. Like, Sam Cortland was wonderful. Wonderful character.
He was the sweetest. I'm at the part in Tog where Dorian was trying to like joke around with Selena, and he's like, she like played the piano or whatever again. And he's like, remind you of an ex-lover or something. And like she gets,
Did she start to cry? I can't remember what happened at that point.
She's kind of teary-eyed. And then, you know, he's like, didn't mean to offend you, and like goes to leave, and she's like, his name was Sam.
Stop.
Stop it.
I loved
like, he was wonderful, and it's still like hard to breathe without him. Like, oh my god.
I know. When I read that part, I was like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. We're going home.
Oh my god, it's just awful. But yeah, I'm very scared that they're both gonna die now.
I'm concerned, like, as we get closer, and the big betrayal, and like, you know, consequences showing up. Oh, yeah. I'm nervous. I'm sweating.
I'm just, I don't know.
Like, okay, let me ask you this. If you had to choose between someone dying in ACOTAR or someone dying in Crescent City, what would you pick?
If I had to choose one or two people to die?
Yeah.
And it could only be from one series? Oh god.
Yes. Like
but can I choose? Can I choose who dies?
It's okay. It's the most. Let me put the stipulation on. It's like one of your favorite characters in both series. So it's either like, yeah, like who? If she's like, I'm either gonna kill off Lucian, or Tamlin, or I'm gonna kill off Rune and Hunt. Like who would you rather give up? I know it's hard.
I'm sorry, but Lucian and Tamlin are my boys. They're my boys. I'm sorry. I love you, Hunt, and I love you, Rune, but they're my boys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like,
I agree.
You know,
it's close. It was like,
maybe if Rune grew up a bit and he was a little more responsible and he was a little more. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love him. I do. I love him, but I don't know, there's just something missing. Maybe he has to meet his dad.
But also, if Rune does survive and this is his ordeal, he's going to become the most amazing male ever. But I agree with you.
Yeah,
he needs a little bit of character development, so I'm a little concerned. But I would also pick Rune and Hunt to die rather than Lucian and Tamlin if I had to.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I had
unfortunately,
I might have talked to you about the theory that I did a while ago, but basically,
let's hear it.
Did I tell you about whether I think either Feyre or Nesta is going to make the drop? Did I tell you about that?
I feel like I've heard you talk about
I posted it on Facebook. I mean, on Instagram.
Maybe that's where I saw it. But that's an interesting theory.
So I said let me pull this up really quick, actually, so I don't get anything wrong, because it was a pretty good theory. So, I was talking to Chastity yesterday, and she wants to guess
Yeah.
at some point.
I
And
would love that.
she was like, I love that theory. And she said the blood rite was Nesta's ordeal.
Yes, it was.
And she
Yes, it
lost her power.
was.
She's gonna get her power back. I
Well,
know she's gonna get her power back at some point.
oh, well, that's what someone was saying is like it's weird. And I think maybe it was actually saying that all the females lose their power. So like is Aelin gonna get her power back? Is Nesta gonna get her power back? I don't know.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know why I feel like they're gonna have to like not fight the mother, but like I don't know. Like fix
That's what I think.
right all the
I think.
wrongs.
Yep.
So I said
Like, are we gonna?
so basically this whole theory started with people like looking at the cover and they're like, it's Lydia or it's the mother or it's this person, and I'm like, no, it's Bryce in her High Queen beast form, which is literally everything all at once, which I've said before.
I think I'm on the fence. I'm like, it's either Lydia or it's Bryce, but I like where you're going with Bryce's.
But like
beast form
why
after the
would
drop.
why would Lydia have like the claws and the like she's just a stag shifter, like she's just a deer shifter.
Is she though? We don't know. We don't know enough about her to know. I don't think we
guess.
know enough.
But anyways, I said I'm super thrilled that Bryce is more powerful than Feyre, but it also terrifies me
Why?
because
Why?
Feyzand is SJM's babies. Like, look what she did to Nesta. But I said
it sounds
I
like
have
she's
reason
gonna make them pay.
I said I have reason to believe that maybe SJM would make Feyre meet her level, because remember when Feyre looked into the Ouroboros and she was a beast within? She already has the wings and the claws. So technically, like, it could also be Feyre on the cover, which I would literally be so mad. I would rather it be Nesta on the cover than Feyre on the cover.
That can't be Feyre. No way. Nope.
No.
I reject that. I rebuke what you just said.
Okay, so Bryce already made her drop, right? She already became all those things. So
Right.
if we go with the fact that Nesta is connected to her through the 8-pointed star,
Okay.
I more think that it's Nesta than Feyre. I'm on the fence because it could be Bryce or Nesta on the cover.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think she would do that. I think she's gonna focus on Lydia and Bryce. Because this is Crescent City.
Well, again, she had that whole folder about Lady Thor on her Pinterest. It was literally Nesta. All the depictions were literally Nesta. Nesta has to get her power back at some point. Yeah. She has to make the drop. If she makes the drop, I'm gonna explain. I'll explain here. Hold on. I said, okay, as we know, when Bryce made the drop to immortality, you're not supposed to stay alive without an anchor, but her dead friend Danica gave her the last scraps of her soul and power to help Bryce live and become that queen. The drop is made between the 7 gates of Lunathian, which of course make up the 6-pointed star, with the 7th being in the middle. Now, as we know, Hypaxia, a necromancer, uses the 6-pointed star to summon spirits. Right?
Right.
And again, I said ACOTAR, there's a 6-pointed star in ACOTAR only once, which is Rhys's mother's ring. Again, it says the star sapphire gleamed in the candlelight, as if it were one of the Starfall spirits trapped in the stone, your mother's ring. My mother gave me that ring to remind me she was always with me. So I said, now we know that Feyre has this ring as her wedding ring, and we don't really know what she saw when she died that time with Nyx. We don't know, because I know that people say the pregnancy thing was like so annoying and awful, and why the hell was it in Nesta's book? But I'm actually kind of thinking she did that on purpose, because it wasn't Feyre's POV, and we don't get what happened to her when she died and got brought back from the Dread Trove. She could have met Rhys's mother.
Maybe.
Because she was wearing the ring. Can you imagine if that's who helped Nesta? I will always be with you.
Oh, what a plot twist that would be.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
I said,
what if Rhys's mom is the mother? Like,
I mean, could be. I don't know.
I don't know.
I said, I think Nesta will still have to make the drop to be brought up to Bryce's level, and Rhys's mom will be her spiritual anchor the way she was when she aided her in bringing Feyre back.
Oh my gosh.
I said, because guess what Danica also said to Bryce during her drop? I will be with you every step of the way. Even if you can't see me, I will always be with you.
Stop.
Just like Rhysand's mom.
You're killing me. You're killing me here.
I said, I think it would make a lot more sense to let for Feyre to let Nesta use the ring to make the drop. Because again, Nesta saved her probably with help from Rhys's mom, and Rhys's mom would want to help Nesta for helping her son, right?
Right.
And this is how she gets her powers back. We already know that Bryce is tied to Nesta by the 8-pointed star of the mother, and the mother chose them both as her preferred. I said, to me, it can technically go one of two ways. So either Nesta gave up her power in Akasif to save Feyre, and Feyre might have seen her mother-in-law when she was dead. And that means that Nesta gave her queen's crown to Feyre, basically, and gave up literally everything that was meant to be to make Feyre the ultimate whatever, which is what I would absolutely hate, but it is Feyre.
True.
Or Feyre will actually be humbled and allow Nesta use of the ring so Rhys's mom can be her spiritual anchor, since like Bryce, she would have to regain her rightful powers, which would be made by making the drop. And also a way to counteract the cauldron taking her bad magic back. And then Feyre would have to support Nesta as High Queen, as foreshadowed in Akasif by everyone calling her one Queen of Queens, like Bryce.
I don't even know how I feel about all that, to be quite honest with you.
I'm like, because I was like, she was wearing the ring when she died. And Nesta was the only one who could bring her back because she wielded the dread trove. And the I will always be with you. If Feyre died, Rhys would have died because of their bargain.
Rue. Or did Rhys see his mom? Well, he didn't die. He didn't die.
Feyre died first.
No,
and then she slowed time so that nobody else died. Well, Feyre and the baby died. And then Rhys was going to follow, but she slowed down time.
Gosh.
So I'm actually convinced, because we know Bryce isn't staying in Prythian, I'm convinced Nesta, she's going to lose Cassian. She's going to have to make the drop. She's going to make her drop, gain all the same powers that Bryce has through the gates, because they're technically the same gates. Come back, and she is going to be Queen of Queens, High Queen of Prythian. I don't think she's going to like want to be, so maybe that's going to be like a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
But I do not think that I don't think Cassian's gonna make it out of this, because this is Nesta's arc. I told you before, like, what the fuck is Cassian's arc? He's gonna be her little queen consort? Like, nah. Although, actually, now that I kind of said that,
yeah,
now that I said that, and his whole thing about Nesta deserves a prince,
yeah,
and whatever, I'm like,
maybe he would be a queen. And you want to know what? If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Cassian, because Cassian is okay being humbled.
He wouldn't want to be a king. He's like, I'll be Nesta's little bitch.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, he would do it like gladly.
Okay, but see, here's the thing. Technically, that can't really happen, because he is he has an oath to Rhys.
So
He's
I
Rhys's
don't.
general, Rhys's brother. Under, like, he can't have a higher rank than Rhys.
I agree with you, but I also don't think she would ever put Nesta in front of Feyre. There's absolutely no way that she's going to do that.
She
There's
said
no way.
she said there was gonna be consequences for them. This has to be the
Consequences, but
consequence.
she's not going to be consequences, but she's not going to be queen. There's no way.
Then why? Why in Akasif? Why have everybody call her a queen? Queen of queens. Queen, 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 queen. Give her a crown. She literally wears the crown from the Dread Trove. Brings Feyre back to life, the most powerful female.
I simply don't see it. I don't know. I do not foresee Nesta shadows.
I don't know. See, after Crescent City, I feel like her writing has kind of matured and she's realizing maybe some a little bias. And
really?
Like there was no reason for her to call Nesta a queen all throughout Akasif if she wasn't going to make it happen, right?
Right.
I feel like her losing her powers was her building up to this big thing in Hofas.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like she might humble Feyre. I don't know. Because because in Crescent City too, Bryce is called a queen constantly as well. And we know they're connected.
Hold on. Sorry.
It's okay.
Interesting. Hold on.
We know they're connected.
We do know that they're connected. Oh my goodness. I could see her being like a fellow high lady. I cannot see her being a queen. There's just no way.
Queen. She's queen of queens. Lanthus said it. Lanthus is an old god. He knows.
Oh my gosh.
He knows. And you know
I love it, but
and you know what I said the other day on my reels? I don't know if you watched it, but I said, what if, so you always said like Sarah's kind of an actress, she's kind of snowing us, whatever, and how we were freaking about how Hofas is only 848 pages.
Right.
I said, can you imagine if she drops Hofas and then ACOTAR 6 is a tandem read, like Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn?
It was so peaceful in
I
Queen's Bay.
I feel like anything can happen now. I'm like on the edge of my seat. Like it could be a tandem read.
Tandem read.
Tandem freaking read.
We need it.
I'm all in. I'm all in for the tandem read. I will do it for Sarah J. Maas at Crescent City.
I would be so excited.
I would gladly do that. I would gladly do it.
Yeah. Because, like, honestly, how are you going to wrap up all of those plots in 800 pages? How, Sarah?
That's what I mean. There's no way.
How?
She's not wrapping up. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I'm expecting that. Like, it's shorter than Kingdom of Ash, so no way.
Playing with them?
Is it really shorter?
Yeah. Kingdom of Ash is like 950 something, I think, pages.
So you want to know what I could see happening is like either she's gonna end it where like the war, everyone's like lined up, or you know what I mean, they're on the front lines, and then we're like Cassian and Eris and everyone in that court, and it's them against the Asteri, and then it like cuts to black because he does this at every single book.
No, I feel like I feel like the book is going to end right after the war, and you're not gonna know who's dead yet. They're gonna be like going through the bodies, like that random ass flashback.
Remember with Rhys? Yes, and he was looking for Cassian's face.
Yes.
Wait a second. What if like that was the flashback of like this war?
No, because I think, didn't it say like however many years ago, like 100, 200 years ago or something?
Oh, it did.
But definitive mirror. I feel like that's how it's gonna end again, with them turning over bodies and being like, don't be Cass, don't be Az, don't be Eris, don't be this person. Like,
if she starts the next ACOTAR book like that, because she's like, I just started working on ACOTAR. Okay, you finished Crescent City. Of course you just started working on it because it's like the start of a war.
The tandem
man, I
read.
don't know.
It's gonna
I
fade
don't
to
know.
black with all like we're just not gonna know who's dead and who's alive. There's gonna be like some massive explosion when they are pushed out of the world again, and it's just gonna fade to black. Like we're not gonna know who's dead.
That's exactly what she's gonna do to us, because like what's her history? What did she do with Hostab? What did she do with everything else?
And the whole
She's-
Koshi thing,
And the Koshi thing.
What?
right?
Sarah, you know we're in for hurt. You know this is gonna be painful.
ACOTAR 6 is gonna open with Azrael finding Cass because it's his book.
All right, you know what? On that note, we're gonna have to
No, Reese is gonna be like, I see someone in the sky, and then Azrael's gonna come over and he's like, where's Cassian? And Azrael's
Stop
gonna be
it.
like, I can't find him, panicking, and then we're gonna get all his feelings because he does have feelings. And then they're gonna be like rushing around like the battlefield, like looking at bodies, and they're gonna find
No.
him.
And then the body toll's gonna be like Lucian and Cassian and
Cassian and
she'll
Eris,
kill
I'm thinking.
Tamlin. Yeah. She'll kill like Tamlin and Cassian or something like that.
I'm still
Yeah.
convinced that Baron is after Eris, so I don't know. I think Cassian and Eris are gonna die, and I really don't want Eris to die.
I don't want Eris to die,
Well-
but even the voice actor said that there's a lot more to him that we're gonna find out. So I'm optimistic.
Especially with Moore,
but
so he kind of can't die because he has to be
No,
in the novella. So
he could still die. He could still. Nobody's
yeah,
safe.
I know the novella's after Aka War, so yeah, he could die.
Yeah, it's no good.
Crap.